So an independent and fearless judiciary comprising of independent and fearless judges is essential to attract investment in a country, and particularly the kind of investment that Pakistan, being the frontline state in the war on terror, needs to cut down unemployment, to raise production, improve infrastructure, improve the service sector, and thereby bring down the cost of living and bring down unemployment and give hope to the people that we do not need to tear this system apart. This system will provide our children employment and security. Hope can only be generated if there is investment, if a country is investment friendly. And a country to help the Pakistani leadership realize that the independent judges and judiciary are vital to fighting the war. And you can't say to the Americans, I'm doing my best, I'm fighting the war, give me more weapons, give me more money, give me more assistance, but I'll keep the good judges out and the bad judges in, and I will win the war. No one will win the war. Churchill, Sir Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister, the war Prime Minister of Great Britain, who won the free world, the Second World War, was famously asked by a frenzied aide during the Battle of Britain, when London and Coventry were being bombed by the Germans, and the aide came in a frenzy to the Prime Minister and said, "Sir, the Coventry Cathedral has been bombed and the Germans are going to be crossing the Channel within a month and they will be invading Great Britain. How will we win the war?" And Churchill is famously reputed to have asked the question, "But son, are the courts functioning and are the courts independent?" When a hapless sort of a young aide, wondering what was the connection, said, "Yes, Prime Minister, they are functioning and they are independent." And he replied, if His Majesty's courts are functioning and independent, Britain can never lose the war. That is the lesson, that is the message I bring from the lawyers of Pakistan, who have suffered, who have fought, who have walked in midsummer sun, who have been spent lonely nights in prison in the cold, sub-freezing winter of Islamabad and Pakistan, blazing summer sun, and they walked the streets, marched the streets, conducted long marches to Islamabad, raising only their voices, equipped with no weapon except the precepts of the Constitution and the concepts of due process and rule of law, who have been utterly non-violent, are democratic, their movement is transparent, their movement is peaceful, and their movement is for the constitutional rights of the citizen. It is perhaps the only movement in the entire Muslim world and its history, perhaps the only movement in the entire Muslim world and its history that has all the attributes of being non-violent, peaceful, democratic. Every year the leadership is re-elected or elected. Every year the leadership is elected, new leadership is elected. democratic, tolerant, and above all else, plural, which means it comprises of lawyers who are Hindus, lawyers who are Christians, lawyers who are Muslims, lawyers who are Sunnis, who are Deobandis, who are Brahmins, who are Shias. You can imagine what is happening between the conflict and tension between Shias and Sunnis in Iraq. But there is no tension in Pakistani lawyers movement, and it is a hugely popular movement. According to an IRI poll, Institute of Republican Research Institute, International Republican Research Institute, 83% of the population of Pakistan wants Iftikhar Mohammad Chaudhry, Chief Justice of Pakistan, back. So it's a hugely popular movement. And nowhere else has this kind of a movement been seen in the Islamic world at least. But America has so far turned a blind eye towards it and treated us, the lawyers, who are in black coats, black ties, white shirts, black suits, except for the American lawyers who walked with us and in sympathy for us on the steps of the Supreme Court and in New York, in black ties and black coats, all of them in December last year. America has turned a blind eye towards us, not the academia, American academia, not the American media, not the American lawyers, but the American administration. We hope that will change, and that is my message really. We want you to help us win the war on terror, and the most effective, perhaps imperceptible, but the most effective weapon in a war is independent and fearless judiciary comprising of independent and fearless judges. Thank you very much.